What's happening, family? What's happening, family? Let's get to it, man. Let's talk about the world real quick. I got some time on the way. Go ahead and pin that. Y'all know it's a lot going on. Oh my God, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. The world don't rest. The world don't sleep. Evil don't rest. Evil don't sleep. I feel like we're in this day and age where you're being forced to choose sides. You're being forced to choose sides. I was thinking, I was thinking about this Palestine and Israel situation. Oh, Birdman and Gilly, it's a new one every day. It's a new one, the Pac and Joe, the Birdman, Gilly. What's going on? So many wars, micro wars, macro wars. Now, those wars, I'm not going to lie, the internal culture wars are just men yelling at each other. Those wars don't matter. Those wars are not the important ones. But I was looking at the real war that's going on, that's been going on for a minute. And you see all the people be going at each other. Everybody be talking about Israel. I stand with Israel. People say free Palestine. But here's the thing, and this is a question I got to you all. Regardless of what side did you find yourself on, who decides war? This is the question. Who decides war? It's such a beautiful question, because most of what people are talking about, the answers that they're giving, that's the smoke. The questions that people aren't asking, right, are the answers that they should be seeking. Who decides war? Now, most people have an opinion on the decisions of the deciders. And these opinions make them feel as if they're living in a democracy when they're not. Opinions don't make a democracy. There's only a small amount of people who decide when war starts, when war ends. The people's opinion does not create that decision and enforce it. So you can say you stand with whoever, but the question is what power do you have? Do you want the war to end? And if you do, can you do anything about it? And who decides this thing is going to go to the highest point? These only a few men and women, or mostly men, that get to make decisions for the rest of the world, and the rest of the world are just reactionary on what is happening in the world. You don't get to make decisions. You don't decide that, hey, we don't like them over here, we don't like them over there. You don't get to decide war. But the people are complicit in war and the casualties of war when they're not in opposition of the leadership who decides war. See, America goes to war all the damn time for whatever reason. See, there can't be peace and stabilization where there's no freedom, justice, and equality. In America, we are always feeling like we are at war, and therefore our spirit can't be at peace. Our nervous system can't relax. And the world is acting as if they have power by posting on social media. And the reality of it is, the greatest way to empower yourself regardless of where you think you find yourself on this conversations, the greatest thing is that we now live in a time and age where we don't have to rely on newspapers to inform us. We don't have to rely on newscasters and media channels to tell us what's happening in the world or what happened in the world. You can go do independent research. If you don't like what, you can go check Al Jazeera News if that's where you want to get your qualifications from. You can go ask ChatGPT quickly, hey, can you give me a rundown file on the history of this war from a non-biased position and give me a breakdown of what's been happening from a timeline from the beginning till now so that I'm informed? You can literally go utilize a tool to inform yourself real quick. But the people don't really want to be informed because it gives you another responsibility to care about. It gives you something else to have to think about. So you don't really want to know the truth. And if you are forced to speak your true feelings and the truth about every situation that you got in and your real thoughts about the world, most of you all wouldn't put out nothing. Whether it's ChatGPT, whether you're going to Bard, or whatever the hell you use it, I'm telling you, you have tools. Most people, if you had to speak the truth, and the reason you wouldn't do it is because you don't want to lose whatever position you have. And they tell us not to deal with politics. It's one of the biggest no-nos you get. Don't deal with politics until politics becomes business for you. See, we go, there's conflicts in the Middle East, there's conflicts in Africa, wars in Africa all day long. All day long there are wars in Africa. But there's a human issue in the way that people view groups of people because it's not humanized. One group is seen as a human. Oh, if this group is harmed, it kills and burdens my soul. But if another groups get harmed, that's just the way the world is going on. Why do some things hit the spirit and other things don't? You have to ask yourself, why is it that some things hit the spirit and that the collective has to have an opinion on and choose sides, but a little African kid could be getting blown to smithereens? A young girl in a village somewhere can, be getting taken advantage of sexually and nobody says anything about it. There's no humanization until they're telling you who are humans and who are not. Because when you dehumanize a people, you can do anything you want to them. We study history, we know this. You can do anything you want to them, and the people don't even realize that that's what's happening to them. It's very important that we learn how to think. See, in this day and age, you don't have to tell people anything. All you have to do is give them enough information to think they're going to start questioning. See, the problem with the world is we don't ask enough questions. We let people tell us what they want us to think. We're not asking the right questions. And every time you get into a situation, you got to ask the who, what, when, where. You have to ask, and this is the most important part to me, the question is, who has the power? Everybody don't. It's always a few people. There are like a few real people that have the power. There's like a group or a person that can make the decision. So everything is in their hands. And nobody brings them forward and say, hey, what's going to go on? Nobody brings these people forward. There's only a few people, and the rest of the world is just sitting idly around saying, hey, we don't like what you guys are doing. It's wasteful. It's weak. It makes 0% sense to me that if I know a man has power, yet he never has to step out the shadows to justify his decisions. And most of the time, we don't even know who that person is. So instead, we start fighting ideas. We start calling these things ideas. No, these are groups. These are people. Who's a people? Let's just have a real conversation. Do your research. Talk about those people and ask them, hey, when are you going to make a different decision? And then ask the people on the other side, okay, when are y'all going to have a different decision? Because the war is not between the people. The war is between the leaders. The war is between the power brokers. Then look at how those people are living on both sides. And then look at the people in the middle that have to deal with the consequence of the decisions that those who are in the leadership and power positions make. Then you get your real reality. Oh, you think that the people on the ground that get hit by the bombs and they get beat down, you think those are the people that make this? You think that's what they want? Oh, hell no. I think they just want to live. I think they just want quality life. I think they want food, clothing, shelter, power. I think they want to have freedom and peace. No, but it's not their decision. But you become indoctrinated to believe in the decisions of those at the top. That's it. And see, here's the thing. You have to do your research. Nobody has to tell you anything. Nobody has to force you to do anything. Research. See, when a human being is moral and good and you give them the truth, then they're going to make decisions based on the truth. You don't have to force anything on anybody when they have the truth. And that's all we're saying today is, what is the truth? That's the question. What is the truth of the matter? What is the information that the people need? And so when anything happens, you should ask, what is the truth? What is all the information I need to see this, and how do we get to a resolution? But we are people that go through so much trauma. Every time there's one thing you're trying to get over, there's a new thing. Oh, it's a war this week. We had UFOs last week. We dealing with Trump the other week. We dealing with Biden the other week. We dealing with Ukraine the other week. We dealing with cyber attacks another week. We dealing with plagues, and we dealing with all these different things. Then you got your own life and things going on. So guess what happens? The industry of entertainment says, let us distract you for a minute. I know things are tough. Don't even think about all this. I need to distract you because you know it's traumatic to be focusing on all that. And your body doesn't want it either. Your body says, I don't even want to be home. I don't want to think about none of this. So you turn on entertainment, and the entertainment allows your mind to be distracted so you don't have to focus on those things. So we hit the club. The club says, listen, you got hella problem, the world crazy. You ain't making much money. You ain't doing none of those things. Go to the club. Go smoke something, man. Go drink something. Go fuck something, man. Go have you a good time, man. What you doing thinking about that kind of shit, man? We ain't got to deal with that right now. Let's get our mind off that. So there's an industry, right? The distraction industry works well because people need to jump out of these worlds. Who wants to think about these things? People don't want the truth, because why would I have to deal with that? It's easy for me to just go with a hashtag. It's easy for me to do what I'm told, right? It's easy for me to just, you know what? I don't think my life is good, and I don't even feel good being alone by myself. Fuck that, bro. We going out to the club tonight. I ain't trying to think about life. I don't even want to be at my job. I hate my job. So, boom. You go out. You go distract yourself. Nobody's thinking about the economy. America being in a recession. Billions of dollars can continue to going out. The world is in a strange place. Is AI going to take over the damn world? Are we going to a social credit system? Who has time to think about all that? And they trying to find their purpose in life. So we give away ourselves to the distractions because people need it in order to cope with life. But what happens is you become less resilient and less experienced with actually dealing with real life. So now Apple comes with things to put over your face so you can indulge into a fake world. You don't have to deal with the real one. So we overindulge into fantasies when we cannot deal with realities. And it's not that it is not people willing to deal with reality. There's many of people that are willing to go change the world, stand up for the world. But who's willing to help them? Who can you enlist to aid you on your conquest of world changing? Because there are so many things that are bigger than the individual to change that it requires many people to enlist on these ideas, on this revolution, on this path of change. But everybody's so busy trying to distract themselves from dealing with reality, nobody wants to enlist and participate in this grand idea of changing shit. So we go back to our days. The cycle continues. We see something happen. We distract. We hashtag, we join ideas, we're unresearched, right? And then by the time it's time to think about something, by the time you might get curious, you got to go back to work. Oh, baby mama calling you. You know what I'm saying? You got stuff going on. You don't have the leisure time to study the truth. You don't have the leisure time to be free. Think about it. And then those who do decide to change the world, step in front of the world, everybody else wants them to jump out there radically, but nobody wants to have their back if they do it. We want revolutionary sacrifices, not leaders. We want revolutionary sacrifices, not leaders. We want somebody else to say the truth. We want somebody else to go out and do the thing that we know is right. And we just yell at them, hey, I like the fact you did that because I'm not going to do it. But then if shit hit the fan for that person, nobody's going to take care of their family. Nobody's going to have their back. Nobody's going to bail them out of jail. Nobody's going to give them anything. And so a generation becomes smarter and smarter of saying that I've seen this play over and over and over. Cycles of the world. I'm emboldened with the spirit and passion to do, but I also have the observation and hindsight of 2020. I've seen it happen so many times, so I can do the exact same thing. So I have to figure out how to put myself in the best position to do things that change the world, but don't look like the obvious sacrifice that's been given as a blueprint for when you are emboldened and passionate with the spirit. It's a fine line. It's a fine line in life. Because by the time, you know, how you gonna help somebody and you could barely help yourself? You gotta watch your favorite show. You gotta go out. You gotta kick it. You gotta hit the party. You gotta enjoy life, right? That's what they tell you. You gotta indulge in your desires and your pleasures. Nobody got time for you to be focused on the pains of the world and trying to help heal the ills. Let somebody else do that, right? So this is why we don't really want truth. This is why we want to be entertained by these issues and problems. They come and they go. Boom. I just put the Diddy and Pac thing up there because I know people who care about that. That's what everybody wants to focus on. Those things are the distractions before you get to the important part, the last line. Those are the distractions. That don't matter. The stuff they give to the culture, hey, black people, pay attention to this stuff. Nah, that's you gotta start asking, why are you telling me this now? Why are you showing me this? And the question always becomes, isn't there something more important for me to focus on? I know these are our barbershop conversations, the black conspiracies of foreverness that never end. A people so focused on the past, they have no time for their present, and they never plan for the future. Oh man, y'all so indulged in the past, and the future is being planned by those who have time to plan it. And all you will have is an opinion upon those who took the time out to plan. You hate their disruptive technologies, but what are your plans for the future? But you hate the plans of the present because somebody else planned 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago for this time, for them to rule, but you had no plans for it. Empower the righteous and see the world change. But you got a plan to do that. You have to think about the future in order for that to happen. Nothing changes in a vacuum. Nothing changes by hoping. It's by action. All you have to do is think. And the world changes. But if you have a thinking society, it is very hard to keep them down. But we have now given up power with consent, and now going to a point where they don't need consent. It's the thinking. How do you think about these things is where I want to get to. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has information. Everybody has their take. Everybody has these ideas. But how do you help people think about these things versus force feeding them your thoughts and ideas? Imagine if the forms of power set on TV and just sat down and got people to think about the world in different ways that may even challenge existing powers and challenge them. That would make that person too damn good. Man, that would, you know how powerful a leader would be? How secure they would have to be in the fact that they believe they're doing the right thing, to tell people to challenge them if they're not doing the right thing. But that's not the way power works. We all know that's not the way power works. Power works through channels and funnels of control. It works through mechanisms of psychology to keep society in a place, right? It works through social engineering. It doesn't work through telling the truth. It works through evoking emotions and controlling the spirit. It works to tapping into people's wants and desires versus their needs. So I'm not here to give you my opinion. I'm here to simply make you think. Because that's what we need. You can't enlist me into the world of drones, the world of clones, the world of this, that, and the third, so that you can decide who's enemy, who's good, who's bad, who's this. That's another game. That's a whole nother game. It's just another game that's being played on another level to make you look around at the people around you that's supposed to be the very people that you enlist, but now you hate them because of something they think. And that's because neither one of y'all thinking. Because you've been given your thinking points. You know, sometimes they give a speaker their talking points. Hey, when you go up there, talk like this. They give society their thinking points. When you start thinking, think this. Because thinking is a deliberate action that requires time. Thinking is not a game that everybody actually do. Most people do not think. So we find places, sources, references where it's already been thought about because it requires time. We need time to think. I call myself a thought leader because I wanted to help people think. I wanted to help lead you to a better thinking and better thoughts about things. Because I know that the average person don't have time to think. I don't be having the time to think about things sometimes. So I try to find well-informed sources that's already done the thinking that I can trust. And then I can limit the amount of time that I have to spend on it. And I can get to a verifiable thought to say, okay, this is the one I'm choosing to adopt. But in order to pick the right side in anything, all you have to know is the truth. That's it. All you have to know is the truth. That's it. If you ask for the information, that's all you need. Hey, what's going on with this thing? And this goes with everything. This goes to whether you want to talk about goddamn crypto, business, anything. All you have to do, and this is, I know it's hard, right? They say society doesn't want it, right? All you have to do is get the information for yourself. Get enough information to make a good decision. Otherwise, you have to go with whatever you're told and hope that that's correct. But we live in a time of information and access to information, which is empowering, and it gives you wealth, and it creates a different type of action and a different type of result. That's it. All you need is the information and learning how to utilize and think. But if you don't want that, then yes, this is the reason why somebody right now is like, honestly, I'm going to be honest, that's too much for me to do. So then we go to leaders, right? Then we go to sources, right? Now that source can be right, they can be wrong. Human beings are not infallible. Human beings are not perfect, right? So that means that you might go to a source and you didn't want to do the thing, and so you hope that they were perfect, but they're not. So you have to then add into the fact that they're going to make mistakes. Add into the fact that they might be wrong. But what makes a good leader? It's the ones who don't quit, the ones who learn from it, the ones who get back up, and the ones who improve. So if the ones who have done the failing are ready to do the succeeding, because now they know what to do next. But if you're looking for somebody with a perfect track record, right? Most of the time, people are only watching them to see them fail. It's like a boxer with a perfect track record. Everybody watches to see if they go lose. That's how we are with leaders and people that we look up to. Ooh, they record too clean. I'm just waiting to the fact that they fuck up. That's all. That's how we are. As if the judge has not done more or worse. Thing is, only thing you need to be grading is whether that person will improve and get better, and is it their character, right? Is it their character? If it's not, what is their character? Their character is the one that's going to triumph. That's the one, that's the internal, that's the habits, that's who they really are. So it's all about getting to that point of knowing who to follow. Are they real? Will they get better? Can I continue to trust that this is not going to destroy this person? They're going to pick the pieces back up. And now it's going to be much easier to follow this person because I know they're not going to make the same mistake twice. That's the way I look at people. That's the way I look at things. I'm not going with the masses. Cancel this person. Why? So the only reason you do that if you think that this person refuses to learn. But this whole you got to have a perfect record shit is the reason why the world doesn't go anywhere. Because if we did that to anybody that we look up to as a historical leader, we would have none. And then we don't even hold those in positions of power to that same standard. Not the politicians. We can easily find a way to forgive those people, the Bidens of the world, the Trumps of the world, right? The Bushes of the world. So this is what we here for, man. You know, you have to find your pathway to see things and understand things, and it's the same thing with the people in your life. There's people in your life that may have fucked up. They may have fucked up. And the question is did they learn from it? And you can forgive them if you believe that y'all learned, and maybe I was too close to the point of time where you were learning, so it affected me the most, so I didn't like you. But doesn't mean you're not still a good person just because you did me wrong. Just because somebody do you wrong don't mean that they not still a good person. The question is, are they going around still doing wrong? See, we don't have these conversations because we're taught to bash each other, taught to go at each other with vigor and hate and venom. But the reality of it is that's not how most people are. Most people are good and they want to do good. But society creates this dark presence in people. And it's unrealistic. So, the questions we ask, the way we think, the way we look at things, changes the way we live, which changes the world. Changes the world. Somebody said, what do you do other than drive gang? Do you still have fun? Hell yeah. I'm about to go somewhere now. I'm going to an event I was invited to out in LA to go enjoy myself and have some fun. You know what I mean? Which is more so just like, you know, networking. Right now I'm in the mode of making music, and doing business is fun to me sometimes too when it's in the creative side, the vision side, the planning side. We're working on big things in media. I'm going to start showing you all the process of how much we work so you all can see. But yes, you can enjoy life and still know the truth. You can enjoy life and still know the truth. You might see me out one time. I might be in there right next to you vibing. That might have been my day. But here's the thing. I like going out when I have something to celebrate. I like going out when I have something to celebrate. I think it's a better pace. And I like setting, you know, I have vices like anybody else, but I cut myself off from certain vices until certain goals are met. So a lot of people go out with nothing to celebrate. And they could be spending that time that they're using partying, working on something to celebrate. I'm just saying, man, let's look, I ain't telling nobody don't go to the club. Go to the club if that's what you do. Reserve it for when you want to celebrate something. That's all I'm saying. Life, it feels so much better because you're not there to just be there. It feels so much better when you like, I get to go out because I did this. I get to go out because now when you're celebrating and you enjoying yourself, it's for a real reason. It's a representation of like life getting better. You reaching these benchmarks. But people be out popping bottles, having the sparklers and they ain't got nothing to celebrate. And you can enjoy life every single day, but this is a tactic that'll help you improve your life because you're making progress. So, like not so many people go to the club because they opened a business or they made, 6 figures in their business or they fired their job or, you know what I'm saying, they having an LLC party or, you feel me, they're celebrating. Like, create these benchmarks in life to celebrate. Give everything you do purpose, right? So your time has substance. I'm telling you, this game, you could have just, I don't care if you just lost 20 pounds. Let that be the reason. Be like, I'm not going out till I lose some of these baby fat, some of these handles on the side. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself a reason. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, I've reached my destination, people. And I hope you enjoyed this conversation because all it was about was helping you think. Peace.